Bruce Gaarder with you on the Rural Radio Network. After several years of real struggles, the dairy industry seems to be making a bit of a comeback. John Holevoet is the Director of Government Affairs for the Edge Dairy Cooperative. He tells us how they are helping dairy farmers.
So we're a testing and verification cooperative based out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. That means all of our farmer members sell their milk directly to a private processor, and then we fill that sort of middleman goal in between as a verification cooperative. But really that means we use the money that they're good enough to invest in us to help them push forward policy agenda in D.C. and in their home states that matters to the dairy farmers, both in Wisconsin, where we have most of our membership, but also throughout the upper Midwest, where we have members.
We're here at Cinnamon Ridge Farms, Donahue, Iowa, just north of the Quad Cities in the eastern part of the state. What's your relationship with these folks?
The Maxwells are one of our farmer members, so they do ship to a private processor, and they do belong to Edge. I know that Joan serves on our policy committee for Edge right now. We're really glad to have her. It's good to have some geographic diversity on that committee, and she brings just a wealth of knowledge and a nice, unique perspective. Also, frankly, she's the only Iowan on the committee, so it's good for us to have that, too.
This seems like a very progressive operation. I'm sure that's good to have on your board.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, and I think we've been fortunate. We're a fairly young co-op. We've been lucky enough to actually kind of attract those progressive, sort of forward-thinking farmers from across the upper Midwest to join. That continues to be the case, and I think we're optimistic that that kind of leadership is going to take us where we need to go in the coming years and coming decades.
The dairy industry, we all know, has been through some rough times. Right now, are you gaining back a little bit of that business?
We are, and I think, I don't think our members are Pollyannish, but I think they're also, we tend to work with people who are, I would say, bullish just by nature, right? They want to do what the next new thing, and they want to be optimistic about sort of where they're heading from a long-term perspective when it comes to investments, the use of technology. You could have all those good feelings, but when price was still low, price was still low. But fortunately, we seem to be climbing out of that well a little bit, at least on milk price. We're obviously carefully watching the rest of commodities to sort of get a sense for what feed's going to do this fall and into next year, knowing that we've had sort of unusual weather here in the Midwest this year.
I know some of the trade issues recently have helped the dairy industry.
Yeah, I think we are fortunate in that even some of the things that have been negatives for other commodities have been either a positive or mostly a neutral for us. We also see that some of the more recent developments on trade, whether we're talking about the potential for a deal with Japan or what I hope to be the tying up of any loose ends on USMCA by the end of this year, those are things that will have some at least incremental benefits for the dairy community.
Well, what's your thoughts on USMCA? You mentioned that. Everybody is looking to that. It's been negotiated. It's a done deal. All Congress has to do is get to work on it. Do you think that'll get done this year?
Well, I told you, Bruce, I mostly represent those optimistic farmers. They must have hired me because I'm an optimist, too. So I think we will get that penned still this year to the president to sign and to be done with. And we'll be awfully glad if that happens. Fairly disappointed if it doesn't, but at least the indications we're getting from our congressional representatives, our senators, there's a lot of momentum to get it done still this year.
Our thanks to John Holevoet. He's the Director of Government Affairs for the Edge Dairy Cooperative. I'm Bruce Gaarder.